Dragon's Lair, the fantasy adventure where you become a valiant knight on a quest to rescue the fair princess from the clutches of an evil dragon.
Hey everybody, it's PDubs. Thanks as always for hanging out upstairs with us and for checking out the channel. And guess what? Arcade1Up broke the internet today by announcing that their long-awaited Dragon's Lair 3/4 arcade cabinet is now available for pre-order. But there's a question that I have, and that question is guys, which Dragon's Lair arcade cabinet is best for you? Well, we're going to try and answer that, give you guys some information, plus get your feedback and reactions, because right now, guys, when it comes to the home arcade space, there are four options for you to get your hands on a Dragon's Lair arcade cabinet and get that arcade experience. But before we dive into it, yes, you can get these games on Steam, you can get these games on modern consoles, you can get these games on your Android phones, etc. You can play these games with controllers, with your fingertips, for very, very cheap price, less than 30 bucks, less than 20 bucks in most cases to get all three games. But that's not what it's all about, right? People who follow this channel, as well as me, myself personally, what are we in it for, guys? We're in it for the arcade experience. Now, when it comes to getting your hands on the arcade experience, let's run through these options. You do have the New Wave Toys Dragon's Lair. They've just re-released these. And of course, if you're looking for the Dragon's Lair cabinet that looks the most authentic, despite Arcade1Up's release that just went live today, unfortunately, it's not the most authentic version out there on the marketplace. That would go to New Wave Toys, makers of these beautiful 1/6 scale arcade cabinets. And of course, but these cabinets only have one game on them, and you're looking at a fairly hefty price tag. It's mostly used as a collector's item. That's right. I myself pre-ordered. They do have they re-released the black edition right here, as well as a special edition with the red trim on it. I went ahead and I ordered the red trim version myself for $169 because I missed out the first time around. And of course, when it comes to Replicade New Wave Toys, they are running the original arcade ROMs using the Daphne emulators. They do have multiple scoreboards. As well as they do have, the marquees in the right size, dimensions. They have the real control panel, as well as a really awesome looking coin door, etc. When it comes to these, though, guys, I mean, you're only getting one game. Yes, you can, I believe, play these on your television. They will have HDMI out, etc., etc., etc. But if you're looking for an arcade experience, you are going to get a micro experience, but it's going to look pretty good, right, for $169. Sure enough, if you have additional money to spend, plus if you're looking for something that's more along the lines of a 3/4 scale arcade, well, you have the iiRcade Dragon's Lair edition, which I always have right behind me here in my videos. And when you look at the iiRcade standard edition Dragon's Lair bundle, it is $600. Now, normally price $800, but they just announced their gold editions, which we'll cover here in a minute. And these are on sale for $600 right now. And of course, you're going to get a 3/4 scale arcade with custom Dragon's Lair artwork that has been approved by the IP holders who own Dragon's Lair. But it's going to be a candy cab shaped design, no light up marquee. You are going to get a 19-inch screen. And of course, Dragon's Lair is included. It's one of the included games that come with the iiRcade, one of the 11 included games. And then you just buy, because iiRcade, they have their online store where you could purchase and download more games. If you want to get Dragon's Lair II and Space Ace, you could go ahead and purchase and download them. I think they're only like $9, $12, something like that. It was so long ago, I don't even remember, to get all those games on the cabinet. Plus, you can add a whole bunch more games as well. They have about 300 games live in their store, online play. All of the games, Dragon's Lair 2, Space Ace. They have online leaderboards if that's important to you, as well as online play is coming to iiRcade for the other games. Online play starts tomorrow. There's going to be a selection of games, and eventually all the arcade games on their system will be online capable playing, versus player, two-player, all that kinds of stuff. Beautiful cabinet. It's a polarizing cabinet. Either you absolutely love it or you hate the way it looks, etc., etc., etc. A lot of people, the number one complaint was it doesn't look like the original Arcade. So sure enough, enter Arcade1Up. And Arcade1Up is bringing us Dragon's Lair. Let's take a look at this, guys. So you have your Dragon's Lair cabinet. Now, what's very interesting is with the iiRcade Standard Edition priced at $599, Arcade1Up is doing the same price, but they're calling it a $50 discount. The early Dirk discount, they're saying late summer ship date. So that means to me, it's not going to ship until the fall. $600 cabinet, guys, and they're matching the iiRcade price. I think that this was definitely a way to, make people say, I'd rather buy this versus an iiRcade. I think that's what's going on here. But keep in mind, when it comes to Arcade1Up, you are limited. These are very limited cabinets. If you're buying this cabinet, you're buying it for the looks. You're buying it for the nostalgia. You want to have the arcade experience, but you also want the cabinet to look like the original arcade or as close to it as possible. When it comes to the Arcade1Up version of Dragon's Lair, there's a couple of things that they changed. The marquee itself is thinner, more narrow. It is in the correct shape of the marquee, has the right logo and artwork on it, but it's definitely a little bit smaller than what was revealed in their original renders. On top of that, when it comes to the scoreboard, originally they said we were going to have you bring your own phones, and then they changed it and said, you know what, we're going to give you alphanumeric displays, but it looks like it's changed again. Now we're getting a secondary LCD screen that's going to mimic the alphanumeric displays. Now, what's interesting about the display in this render is that the font versus the scores are in the wrong position. If you take a look at the original Dragon's Lair, it might be hard to see on your phones, but you'll notice that the fonts are above the scores, etc. The fonts are in the right position, because if anyone knows how to make these things look damn near identical, it's New Wave Toys, right? Arcade1Up, it's just a small thing. It's not too bad. It's not a deal breaker in my opinion, but the scoreboard's changed a little, and it'll be an LCD screen mimicking an alphanumeric display. You'll get a 17-inch monitor for $3, and also you'll get the control panel. You'll notice the control panel is a bit different than the original render as well. On the original render, they did have a control panel that looked a lot more like what Dragon's Lair is giving us right here. From New Wave Toys, the original shape of the panel. It's going to be kind of a standard Arcade1Up panel, but you are going to have the artwork here as well as on the J panel underneath there. Now keep in mind, no Wi-Fi, no online leaderboards, no patches if things go wrong, etc. You are going to get 2 screens, light up marquee. You are going to get the typical Arcade1Up coin order on this one, so not a more custom one like this one right here. So you are going to get a pretty standard Arcade1Up coin door mold on here as well, but you are going to get the original side panel artwork and all that kinds of stuff. Looks fairly good if you're a fan of the original Dragon's Lair artwork. I myself always found it a little bit boring, which is why I was happy with the iiRcade bundle. I thought this had a little bit more personality to it, etc., etc., etc. Now, if you wanted to go all out with your Dragon's Lair purchase, you could get the new iiRcade Gold Edition, which just went live this week as well. And you'll take a look here, guys. These particular cabinets, iiRcade, these newer bundles are taller cabinets. They're 64 inches tall, I believe. 64, something like that. Let's see if we can find it. It might not be on here. Yeah, it's not on there. But I think they're about 64 to 66 inches tall. You do have kind of like the little hutch over here. You get a light-up marquee, JBL speakers, JBL software running those speakers. You get the 19-inch screen. You get the arcade games. Dragon's Lair is one of the included games, plus the artwork. Plus, this has Ethernet port, etc. Future potential for possible swappable control decks, online gaming, online leaderboards, Wi-Fi, all that kinds of stuff, Bluetooth capabilities, etc., etc., etc. So you're getting a lot of stuff with your purchase, plus the ability to purchase and add more games. Now, when you take a look here at the Arcade1Up, obviously you're stuck with just the 3 games for $600, so that's a lot of money to swallow. But then again, it looks pretty damn sexy in my opinion. It's a pretty good looking cabinet if you're a fan of the nostalgia and want the original Dragon's Lair design. It's also important to note that on the iiRcade bundles, here's what's interesting is Arcade1Up has not confirmed yet, and it doesn't say it in their listing, what version of the games are we getting? Are we getting the original arcade ROMs? Or are we getting home console versions that have been put on their system? What's interesting about New Wave Toys is they were very open in their product listings, which have since been a little bit changed. But in the product listings, they did confirm they were running the original arcade ROMs off a Daphne emulator. Arcade1Up did not mention which version of the games we're getting in their listing. So are they giving us the original arcade ROMs running off a Daphne emulator? Or are we going to be getting home console ports running off of an Android operating system? We'll have to wait and see and find out more. What we do know is that when it comes to the iArcade, the version of Dragon's Lair included on the iArcade, you do get both the home version as well as the original arcade version. Both versions are built into a single game available to play on the iArcade. It comes with the system. When it comes to the other two games that you can purchase and download, both Dragon's Lair II and Space Ace, both of those are the home version, which is a modified console version of the game to run on iArcade and be compatible with their leaderboards, their attract mode, and things like that. So it's important to remember that as well, guys. What is Arcade1Up actually going to give us? Well, hopefully they'll give us the original arcade ROMs running off a Daphne emulator, similar to Dragon's Lair, but we shall see. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if we ended up just getting the console ports, but don't quote me on that. We'll know more as this product gets closer to release. Although I think they should kind of clear that information up now. Honestly, they probably should. But guys, when it comes to Dragon's Lair, you have so many ways to play Dragon's Lair. You can play it on your consoles. You can play it on your phone. You can play it on Steam. You don't even need to buy these arcade cabinets, but we're here for the arcade experience. You have 4 options available. Guys, we live in awesome times right now. Amazing times where we have 4 different arcade cabinet variations to choose from to get our Dragon's Lair fix. And of course, if you're extra naughty, you could also run it on other cabinets, such as that At Games Legends Ultimate back there through nefarious means. So there's always many ways to play these games, but what way excites you the most? Which one are you buying? Which one of the 4, or are you going to get more than one? I want your feedback. Let me know below. What I can tell you guys this is there's no wrong answer. You get the version that's best for you, that fits your home, fits your budget, fits the storage in your home, fits in your home. And also what excites you the most, the ability to have a single system that you can expand on, or having an isolated system that looks a lot like the original arcade, bringing back nostalgia memories. And then of course, you get the 3 games and that's it, but that's enough because you're trying to build or emulate having a real arcade in your home with tons of machines, etc., etc., etc. Or you go the multicade route, or you go, hey, I just want the little mini micro console diorama route. There's no wrong answer. I want to know what your answer is, though. Make sure you leave that in the comment section below. I would love to read it. Do me a favor, guys. If you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up on the way out. And as always, my dudes, thank you for subscribing.
Lead on, adventurer. Your quest awaits.